Welcome back, and hello. I'm Richard Hasnot. I'm your host for the Wisdom Inspired Life YouTube channel and podcast. If you'd like to email me, you can email me at richardwib@gmail.com. Love to hear from listeners. Good to have you back also. Before we get into today's episode, we have lots of playlists on this channel, and I strongly urge you to check them out. One of those playlists is the Advanced Wisdom playlist, and it really is about advanced wisdom. This playlist has some great content on it. I'm regularly adding to it, so check it out. There's lots of good stuff there. In this particular episode, I'm grateful to another YouTube channel, the TNH Inspiration and Motivation channel. They have lots of great content. I strongly urge you to go check it out. In this particular episode, I'm sharing with you Spiritual Enlightenment is the topic, from Russell Brand, a comedian and thinker. He is an unusual guy. He's going to be entertaining, but highly informative and even inspirational. This is a video I think you're going to want to watch all the way to the end. It's got some great stuff in it. So, enjoy.
I've been famous now, I know that's boring. I've been rich now, I know that's boring. I fuck loads of people now, I know that's boring. I took loads of drugs now, no, that's boring. So all that's left is spiritual enlightenment. That's all that's left. We are all part of the one living garment of God, and there's no value in judging other people. And the literature around spirituality, whether it's the sort of elegant simplicity of Lao Tzu, or the charming voluptuousness of the Vedas, the passion of Catholicism, the potency of Islam, everyone is saying, we are all one. We are all one. Don't get confused. Don't get confused by your own conflict. Don't get confused by the contradictions in your own anatomical and biological drives. Don't get confused. Breathe, take a moment, look inside yourself. There's something else there. There's an awareness behind your fear. There's an awareness behind your desire. There's an awareness. And if you strengthen your association, your connection to that awareness, it's possible for you to, your life has changed. Sometimes I feel the gentle, playful spirit of God in nature. Sometimes I feel it within myself in quiet. For me, I remember, it's a difficult concept. For me, it is life. It is consciousness. Consciousness itself is God. You cannot allow consciousness to become refracted into an abstract idea such as individualism. Individualism is a material, sensorial, biological notion which we can conquer through the expansion of consciousness. Why live on this dimension? Why live only on this frequency once we know other frequencies exist? We have an obligation for the evolution of our species to continue to pioneer. This is the country of the pioneer. The only reality that is relevant is we have this planet. There are this many people on the planet. There are these resources. Any system that is in conflict with the even distribution of the resources to the people is a disingenuous and illusory system. All these things are just ideas. America, just an idea. England, just an idea. Karate, just an idea. Wednesday, just an idea.
What about reptilian overlord aliens?
Definite real thing. I think perhaps the parameters that we currently regard the world as defined by, me in my little individual body with my little individual voice and individual haircut and individual opinions and views and beliefs and these words that I'm saying, is a temporary expression of a much more potent thing. And if were we to have different eyes, different senses, we would see the vibrations leaking and bleeding and glowing out and tangling amidst one another in some constant, infinite, fractal whir of interconnectivity. But all we have at the moment is the faith that it's there. The faith that it's there. We may never have the knowledge, but we won't really need it if we have the faith. I regard all people as essentially the same, all of us as expressions of some force that's difficult to ascertain with the limitations that we currently have. And that's not to say I don't go through life with loads of opposition, exploitation, and complication. Just the place I return to inwardly is, we are one, we are one. I try to think that when I get irritated. Once we can achieve enlightenment and once we put our satisfaction beyond our individual needs, we are no longer malleable by the pre-existing system. The system requires us to be selfish little consumerist pods. Obviously, I have not managed to avoid this system. I'm completely a product of it. But I recognise that these things, scarf, wonderful though it is, shoes, very jazzy, very sexy, trinkets and items, temporarily beguiling, they are ultimately meaningless. We all know this, we already know everything. The last words of the Bhagavad Gita are, I remember. We already know everything. So I think we just have to popularise a different message. People are ready now. Luckily, we're in a situation where most people are pretty pissed off with everything. So it's time for transition. Through meditation, what it felt to me was like the dissolution of my idea of myself. Like I felt like separateness evaporated. I felt this tremendous sense of oneness. I find it, I'm quite an erratic thinker, quite an adrenalised person. I felt this sort of beautiful serenity and selfless connection. You know, my sort of tendency towards selfishness, I felt that kind of exposed as a superficial and pointless perspective to have. I felt a very relaxed sense of oneness. I felt love, you know, sort of love for myself, but also love for everybody else. A constant sense of absolute love between all of us. Our perception of the world, our experience of the world, is governed by inner phenomena. As children, we pick up certain traits, patterns, habits. We're in fact inadvertently trained by our own muddled parents to see the world a certain way, to develop certain erroneous and sometimes unhealthy, often unhealthy, requirements from other people. As the spiritual journey, I suppose, for me, is to rediscover the truth of who you actually are, to let go of attachments to, first in my case, drugs and alcohol, that latterly to sex or pornography or caring what other people feel about you or money or status. None of these things can provide you with permanent happiness. All of these things are distractions. We're here on this planet for a temporary time. We should be spending our time, some of our time pursuing leisure and joy, all of our time in a spirit of love. We've ended up somehow on this mad planet where we work all the time, most of us doing jobs that we absolutely deplore, getting up to trudge through some sort of meaningless ritual that doesn't relate to the survival of the planet, that doesn't benefit our community. When people talk about an illusion, they mean this. If you're a person that's working in a job in the city that's entirely abstract, or a person that's working in a fast food chain selling food that's not providing any nourishment, or me working at the MTV Awards beaming low consciousness activity population, keeping them spellbound, distracted and feeling inferior, you're participating in meaninglessness. The only thing that's real is we are these mechanical beings made of flesh on this planet temporarily that all seem to be having some experience of consciousness. All of the great saints and sages, whether it's Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon him, all of them say that within yourself there is infinite connection. Until we learn to serve that above all else, until we learn the service of other people will always bring more happiness than the service of ourselves, we're trapped in a kind of illusory prison. So I suppose what should we do? Well, I don't know, do what you want. We're all on this journey together. Let's learn more, let's read more, let's create alternative systems. Spend some time every day alone with who you are. See what feelings come up when you do that. See what it is you're running from. See what it is you're trying to hide from, because you'll find that there's nothing in there actually but infinite love, but you do have to get through hell to get there.